Hi everyone, my name is Jacob from TVQC and Extreme Cinema Reviews, and today I feel truly blessed to be surrounded by the Troma team that we all know, that we all love and support. So I'm very, very pleased to meet you all. My first question is about Occupy Cannes that got its world premiere yesterday. So you crash red carpet, you make movies with zero permission, and somehow you keep going. In Occupy Cannes, you basically crash the world's most prestigious red carpet in a tutu made of rage. Was this revenge, performance art, or just a regular Tuesday for you?
Well, Lily Hayes, you should. I think you should answer. You're the most objective.
Well, first of all, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to meet you, and thank you for taking time to speak with us this morning. We're so honored to be here at Fantasia. It was an incredible night last night, world premiering Occupy Cannes, and this is the perfect audience and home for us to be launching our film. And you know, it's a wild ride for Troma, and it's really important for filmmakers to be able to get their voices heard, and it's becoming harder and harder for independent filmmakers to be noticed, and especially at places like Cannes and bigger festivals where the mainstream films are getting most of the attention. So like you said, I love how you said it, a tutu of rage. Sometimes this is the way that Troma can get the attention. Troma doesn't have a budget for the big banners and the big parties that Hollywood puts on for their films. And so putting on performance art is one way that Troma can attract an audience for their films. And I think that our film also wants to ask the question of, when you put on sort of big performances that sometimes can push too many buttons and be a little bit controversial, it draws a large crowd, which you see in our film. But we also wanted to ask, does that translate into buyers? Because you also, as a filmmaker, films cost money, life costs money. So we also wanted to ask, does it attract the buyers or does it alienate Troma from the inner circle at Cannes? But
what was the answer, would you say?
I would like to ask please watch Occupy Cannes and let us know what do you take away from it.
Go next, please.
Catherine.
Next question.
Yeah.
So we are celebrating 5 decades of guts and unapologetic independence. Between The Girl Who Returned and Vampire Zombies from Space lies over 50 years of refusing to compromise. What's the one thing that has never changed, no matter how outrageous it can get?
Merci. Vous voulez français, chinois, anglais? Wohui Jangoyu. Wohui Jangoyu. Pas Diening de Rennes, non. Je crois que ce qui est important, c'est que tous les mettre en scène, les artistes de Troma, leur art, comme Catherine, devient de son cœur, son cerveau et son âme. Et comme Shakespeare a dit, to thine own self be true. A word of mouth takes time. Bouche à l'oreille, ça prend du temps. 50 ans avec Toxic. Un morceau de caoutchouc, maintenant, 50 millions de dollars. Alors, si on ne meurt pas, si on attend 52 ans, succès arrive. Et James Gunn, Trey Parker, Matt Stone, Claude Chabrol, Lumière, ils sont tous influencés par Troma. Et maintenant, Catherine Corcoran et Lily Hayes Kaufman sont une nouvelle génération d'idéalistes qui veulent créer de vrai art et aussi monter l'escalier comme James Gunn, Trey Parker, Samuel Jackson et beaucoup des autres qui ont commencé dans les films traumatiques. Catherine.
Do you want to add something?
No, I think that was great.
In Occupy Cannes, it is part of documentary, part protest, part middle finger, if we might say, did you walk into the festival thinking, oh, I'm about to make history, or let's see how fast we can get kicked out?
I think that's a great question for Catherine. I think I went in with blind idealism. I thought, wow, I just was like, wow, it was my first film festival ever, and I was 18 years old, and I was on the subway in New York City reading books about what happens at film festivals, and like, so I was just so excited to be there. I don't think I was enraged and wanting to get kicked out. I think I genuinely didn't think I was an outsider. I don't think I knew Troma was, but Lloyd didn't make me feel that way, and I just felt like this is the coolest thing I could ever imagine that I'm doing, and I was so happy to parade up and down the Croisette and show how excited I was about this film. So I think that was more the experience for me. I know everybody brought different things to it, and I think as I got further along and Lily Hayes' film showcases, a couple years of time, there was definitely like moments where, I think I wished the festival would have embraced us a little bit more. But I also think in a way they kind of maybe enjoyed the opposition a little bit. It keeps things interesting,
Yeah, can understand.
Talk about the volunteers you met.
Oh, yes.
From all over the world. Okay.
We did. That was one of the coolest things about it. My parents spent a lot of time living in France, and the stories they would tell me was so I felt like I was living that with all the people from all over the world that we'd have dinner at a long table, all in the same house, and people came from Rome and from England and from Iceland and other parts of France, like all these volunteers, and I'm still in touch with them. Nico, who is an executive producer on this film. We were voice noting the other day. I was practicing my terrible French with him. And he's called me and he was like, and he was asking, we picked up like immediately where we left off. We're still very much in touch. Liam Regan, who's also featured in the film, we talk all the time. It really is like an extended family, and I've been in and at their weddings. It's just kind of, it's quite a crazy thing. We were talking, a fun little anecdote. We were talking yesterday about this. We would there was a little market underneath the apartment we stayed at the first year, and we would go down every day, all of us, and each buy our own baguette and brick of cheese, and that's what we would eat for the entire day. That was what we sustained on. But again, I would do it again in a heartbeat. Maybe now that I have a little bit of my own funds, maybe I would splurge on something with like just the Kaufman sisters or something like that. Maybe we wouldn't all be sleeping in the Charlotte and Elizabeth, who are also producers on the film and are not here. They shared a cot in the living room. Like maybe we would upgrade a little. Maybe we'd share rooms. Although I did offer for this trip when Charlotte wasn't sure where she was going to stay. I was like, well, she is welcome to share a room with me. It would not be the first time, and I was very serious about that.
Wow. And Troma films are filled with slime, sex, guts, gore, and satire, and yet age better than half of the Oscars winner. So, do you think people are finally catching on, or is the world just getting weird enough to understand?
Bonne question. Je dirais que si vous pouvez attendre et si vous avez créé de l'art vraiment, le public arriverait avec Terrifier, film très personnel, dans lequel Charlotte Kaufman a joué comme sourde et elle était très petite. Maintenant, profite après 1989, on a tourné. 2025, enfin, on a un peu d'argent. Maintenant, we have a profit, finally. parce que bouche à l'oreille, éventuellement, le public arrive. Il faut attendre. Malheureusement, beaucoup de bons artistes ne durent pas, ils ne vivent pas assez de temps, comme Van Gogh ou Duchamp ou quelques jeunes filmmakers. Comment il s'appelle? Oh, merde, Chadwick Boseman. Il aurait dû avoir un Oscar pour le James Brown film de 2014. Mais il n'a rien eu parce que racisme dans les Oscars. California town in the north, they have a big film festival. Ils ont donné Stepan Up le meilleur film du festival. Mais Oscar, tout à fait ignoré. Maintenant, c'est très chic. Et maintenant que Chadwick est mort, oui, blablabla. Maintenant, c'est chic d'être noir chez nous. Mais malheureusement, le mainstream, ils sont sourds et aveugles au sujet des vrais artistes. Mais quand même, talent va avoir du succès. Talent, vrai talent comme James Gunn, Trey Parker, Samuel Jackson, Kevin Costner, Robert De Niro, tous dans nos films sur Troma Now, le streaming service, formidable. Mais ils ont tous monté peu à peu. Mais si on a de talent, vous allez réussir. Mais il faut persévérer et il faut avoir du courage, comme Catherine Corcoran, qui maintenant monte les escaliers, le Saint-Sylvain de Hollywood.
Oh, wait, can I also add? Et aussi, actually, ma français, c'est pas très bon.
Tu parles très bien français.
I'll just say it in English. My French is like so old and rusty. But, you know, we're right on the tail of San Diego Comic-Con, and last week, you know, 6,500 people came to honor Lloyd and Troma and the Toxic Avenger's legacy in the Hall H, you know, the biggest room where the biggest films are celebrated and launched. And so, I mean, I think you're right. Troma now is having a moment, and the recognition that is due is being paid to Lloyd Kaufman and Troma and the Toxic Avenger. And it was, you know, an incredible honor to see, you know, Lloyd handing the mop to Macon Blair, the director of the new reimagining of the Toxic Avenger and the new generation of stars of the new Toxic Avenger. And so, you know, I hope that this continues and other films will continue to be recognized, not just from the Troma fan base, which is wide and around the whole world and is very loyal and very deep, but also, you know, by the broader audience too.
You've worked across directing, producing, shaping the narrative behind the scenes. Do you see yourself more as a storyteller, a strategist, or something in between?
Thank you. What a thoughtful question. I do wear many hats in this film, and I think like many Troma productions, that's one of the great things about Troma is that you join the Troma team and you get to cut your teeth on so many different roles. And so through the past sort of 5 years when we really got into the weeds on this film, it was really all the above. So it was crafting the story, I was editing, and really sort of if there was something I needed and I needed it really fast, I had to sort of figure out how do I do this with, you know, no money. And like, how can I create end credits? What program can I use to create an end credit sequence and get them all in there? And crafting this story, I think, was clearly a really big part of it. And I think that's something that I really enjoy doing. I also worked with another editor, Brian McNulty, who has been in the Troma family for many years and has been an editor at Troma many, many years ago. And he came back to work on this. And sort of on that vein, too, a lot of people in the Troma family came back to work on this project. Mike Shapiro did the animation, and Sean McGrath did the graphics, and they've been in the Troma family for many years. And so it's been really great. Philippe Mello was the composer for our score, and that was an incredible process getting to work with him. He's in Portugal, and so we were going back and forth working on the original score parts. And yeah, so it was really great experience.
Also, Philippe Mello is a major jazz musician and just happens to be a Troma fan. So none of the people that Lily Hayes mentioned asked for money. They all did it out of love for Troma 40 years after they worked for us. So that's pretty cool. They don't hate us. But a Motorhead gave us a free song for the movie because Lemmy was a buddy. And, really, James Gunn helped us out and made a speech last night, a video. It was great. It's really... that's really what's better than getting an Academy Award or a César. Or is there a Canadian Oscar kind of thing?
I mean, we have the Cheval Noir at Fantasia.
Oh, that's right. Well, that's the most important. And
And the
also,
Indie Maverick Award.
oh yes, thank you, thank you,
Recipient.
Catherine.
That's all I got.
I got two more questions. One more personal and one funny. So let's start with the more personal. Many filmmakers today are being told to play it safe, fits the market, stay in genre lines, being afraid of going to jail in order to make art or do whatever they want. What's your take on risk taking in today's creative space? Because times are very different from the 80s to 2025. So, I mean, being an independent filmmaker today comes with a whole new set of challenges.
That's like a very good question for you.
Well, certainly talent will out, but it is extremely difficult to know how to approach any way to make money. It's impossible. It's a miracle that certain movies do get to the public, and but thanks to Fantasia and the other great festivals that have embraced Troma for many years. I'm speaking English. I'm sorry, but my English is better probably. But I think it's never been more challenging. And you see in Occupy Cannes that the police at Cannes, they love Troma. We've been there since 1971. And but now we are policed out, but not by the police, but by the Cannes Secret Service or the big guys with the sunglasses. They roughed us up, and I, of course, made sure I was not present for any danger, being a chicken shit. But I gave everybody there my business card. So if anyone got into trouble, the police have my phone and email, and I'm responsible. But I didn't get pushed around, physically pushed around by the cops, but these young people did. They had their photographs deleted. What's that all about? Why would we're tourists? I mean, it's ridiculous. But at any rate, we did get successful. We sold some territories, and you guys got publicity, and the Occupy Cannes movement, which was every day we had press conferences where Lloyd Kaufman explained the different aspects of media consolidation and the difficulties that independent artists have getting their work seen, and much worse, trying to eat and pay their rent as talented independent artists. It's never been more difficult. When I began, there were 30 little Tromas in the United States alone, maybe more, and they all were doing well. But then the whole thing changed with consolidation, a new wave of unfair consolidation and unfair double standard censorship, which really hurt the independent film community and pretty much killed it.
I mean, sorry. I agree with what he's saying, and I think what's kind of interesting, though, amidst all of this, is like it's also when I'm having an optimistic day, which is not every day. It's very up and down in this business. It's hour to hour sometimes, but when I'm having an optimistic day, one of the things that I've learned in working with Lloyd and that I'm seeing now, it is kind of a great equalizer, right? Like what has happened through media consolidation is that the profits have started to tank now, whereas like the stock prices of these companies will show profits. The actual models themselves, the streaming model, for example, is not profitable. We know that. We know that it does not make money. And so what has to happen then is like they're all kind of scrambling to figure out how we do that, whether that's getting people back to the theaters. Recently, for the new James Cameron film, they're pre-selling tickets for the IMAX experience a year in advance, and those tickets are now on a market for like $1,500, like on the black market to get tickets. But that's actually kind of in a way brilliant, because they're desperate to get people back to the theaters, and we have to figure out how to do that. People like Mark Duplass are making independent television, which 10 years ago would have been absurd. That 5 years ago that would have been insane. But actually, if you look at the model now, where he's independently making his own television programs and then selling them to the streamers, it's actually more profitable for the creatives to do it that way, because they're acquiring content. So in the way, it is the great equalizer, right? Someone like Mark Duplass can make something independent and sell it and make a profit, in the same way that James Cameron can also strategically do something and turn a profit. So I do think, when I'm having a good hour, let's say, I think there is hope for companies like Troma, and I think and independent filmmakers, they just have to be like Lloyd and consistently be reinventing themselves and pushing things forward and trying to do things differently.
Thank you. For my final question, I have a special request. Can Taxi answer the question?
Yes. Toxie is here.
All right. So my final question
Toxie
is
is actually the brother of Lily Hayes Kaufman, Charlotte Kaufman, and Elizabeth Kaufman, because from the time they were babies, they are in the films. And Charlotte, thanks to Stan Lee, she's on the cover of the Marvel comic, one of the Toxic Avenger comic books, when she was a little baby.
oh,
Yeah, very interesting.
let's say someone drops an unlimited budget in your lap. What's the first completely irresponsible, artistically questionable, but undeniably Troma thing that you would do with it? And don't say buy pants. We know that's not happening.
Don't say what?
Buy pants.
Don't say what? Oh. A good point. I think if we had that kind of money, we would. The new Toxic Avengers, 50 million. I don't know how much, but if it's $50 million, you could make easily 100 really great independent films. 100. And maybe more. The young people. We have movies on Troma now that cost $2,000. Sean Baker, Takeout. His movie Takeout is no money. It's brilliant too. It's great, and all his early films. I don't even think Anora cost very much. And I just saw one. The Inheritance, made a few years ago. Totally shot with a cell phone. It's brilliant. It's terrific, and it is on a lot of major Netflix and all that kind of stuff. And it's great. It's wonderful.
Peter watched and tweeted about Return to Nuke Em High, so maybe he'll watch Occupy Cat.
Perhaps, I hope so. Yeah, for sure. And James Gunn gave a nice video last night that was very appreciated by the audience. It was really just a wonderful time for us, because we kind of can do what we want. We have freedom, limited by budget, but also we have the fun of not having a date by which we must be ready for distribution. Nobody wants our movies, so we have all the time in the world. Personne veut acheter nos films, alors on a tout le temps du monde pour achever, pour compléter les films, pour faire le montage. Il n'y a pas un deadline. On a beaucoup de liberté, sauf l'argent. Ça, c'est un petit problème. Merci, Jacob. Very good questions. Thank you.
Thanks to all of you. I feel very happy about this interview. And you guys, maybe some people don't want to buy a Troma movie, but you definitely should. And you can watch all of these on Troma now. If I'm not mistaken, you get a free month.
Free.
First month free. And my personal favorite are number one, Terrifier, Toxic Avenger, and Romeo and Juliet. So
Good.
thank
good
you,
show.
everyone.
Thanks. Thank you so much.
Can we get a photograph?
Yeah.
Sure.
Do it on yourself. Yeah.
So take a close-up of the,
Yeah.
the tattoo for sure. What is your name, young boy?
Oh, I'm Jacob Riendo, and I fucking love Troma, and I got a tattoo yesterday. Pretty cool, huh?
Oh, that had to hurt, Jacob.
Oh yeah, it hurts like a motherfucker.
Well, thank you very much, Catherine Corcoran and Lily Hayes Kaufman. I'm very pleased.
It was brilliant.
Toxie's there. Toxie's
Toxic,
smiling.
he's even
and-
interviewing, giving an interview.
Oh, that's right.
Interview.
He's talking.